Tonight, we wrap up our five-part series on the potential impact of a second Donald Trump presidency for Coloradans. We have a similar series for Democrats' policies during the Democratic National Convention, and we'll expand on this reporting through Election Day. Donald Trump has vowed to reshape the federal government into a powerful force loyal to him and to use that power against his enemies. Some supporters of Trump here in Colorado have a specific and darker vision of retaliation. This is Decision 2024, the stakes for Colorado.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all.
Donald Trump is clear about what he'll do.
First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively.
That would give Trump the power to replace tens of thousands of career civil servants with his own political appointees. It's been a long-time priority of his pick for vice president, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
Fire every single mid-level bureaucrat, every civil servant in the administrative state, replace them with our people.
There are 38,000 civilian federal employees in Colorado, more than 2 million nationwide. Purging anti-Trump civilian federal employees is a major part of the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, created by Trump advisors and allies as a blueprint for his second term. Trump's trying to distance himself from Project 2025 after previously praising Heritage's strategy.
They're going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do.
A Heritage-funded project is now investigating civilians who work for the federal government, promising to publish a list of federal employees who are disloyal to Trump.
What we're doing is we're educating the American people about who these people are so that if President Trump wins and he wants to implement the agenda that the American people elected him for, he knows who's not going to be open to implementing that agenda.
When you're putting in place an autocracy, you need to get the executive branch under control.
Mario Nicholas is an election law attorney in Colorado, a former Republican who is now general counsel for the never-Trump Republican group, the Lincoln Project. He also represented the voters who sued to keep Trump off Colorado's ballot, saying Trump was constitutionally ineligible to serve after the January 6th insurrection. Nicholas says Trump's plan isn't just a purge of anti-Trump federal employees, but a wider campaign of vengeance.
I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution. Not gonna let this...
This is Trump speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference last year. Those are comments he's tried to walk back, saying that his retribution will be when his agenda succeeds. But Trump has used even more pointed, dehumanizing language for political enemies he says he will target. Donald Trump has said, "We will root out the communist,
Marxist, fascist, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country, that lie and steal and cheat on elections."
Do you think he's talking about you or your clients when he says that?
I mean, I think he's talking about anyone who opposes him in any way whatsoever.
Which would be you and your clients?
Which would most certainly be me and a lot of my clients.
Are there specific Coloradans, not that we have to name them today, but people that could be named that you think could be at risk of retaliation in a Trump administration?
Sure. I mean, I think that absolutely is true. I'm not going to name names because our country has a really bad history of that. And furthermore, I don't think that it's my right to put other people in danger.
Names are being named by Trump supporters who want to see retribution go beyond rhetoric and go beyond the firing of government employees.
So I created this list of 350 people.
Retired military officer Ivan Raiklin is making the rounds on right-wing fringe media with what Democratic Senator Jamie Raskin of Maryland has called a vigilante death warrant for hundreds of Americans. There are at least 4 Coloradans on that list. Raiklin wants so-called constitutional sheriffs to take the situation into their own hands.
And we provide them the necessary evidence for them to go after them for treason.
Conservative activists in Colorado have openly talked about executing their political opponents for treason for years.
If you involved in election fraud, then you deserve to hang.
That's election rigging conspiracy theorist Sean Smith speaking at a church in Castle Rock.
That is the definition of treason, and he should be hung by the neck until he's dead.
That's far-right activist and DCF guns owner Joe Oltmann calling for the hanging of President Joe Biden, insisting that death is a legal punishment for treason.
I want to send the media to the gallows, the mainstream media to the gallows, radical leftists to the gallows, traitors to our nation to the gallows, and they all kind of fit in the same bucket.
This was the president of the Heritage Foundation in early July.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
While Trump has denounced political violence, he's called for criminal charges for government employees who, quote-unquote, collude with the fake news. Trump confidant and former Trump administration official Kash Patel has said that a second Trump presidency would directly target journalists.
Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out.
Trump has called for a variety of criminal investigations and prosecutions, for judges and prosecutors he dislikes, for nonprofits like those in Colorado that help migrants in this country without documentation, and even the Biden family.
We are hearing people on the Trump campaign and in the Project 2025 document that we've all heard so much about is really a direct threats to retaliate for the sake of retaliating politically.
John Walsh, U.S. Attorney for Colorado under the Obama administration, says Trump ran into resistance when he tried to weaponize the Justice Department during his first term, and that by clearing out disloyal career prosecutors in favor of political supporters, Trump could use the justice system against those who criticize him.
I don't think this happens easily. I don't think it happens overnight, but I don't think it's impossible either.
One of Trump's campaign promises is most chilling to those who fear retaliation in Colorado and elsewhere: pardoning the January 6th insurrectionists, which include several Coloradans.
And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly.
I think it's incredibly dangerous, but I think it's one of the first things he'll do. And I think that what it does say to America, and what it will say to not just those people who he pardons, but everyone else, is violence against other Americans, as long as you're doing it in Trump's name, is okay. I think that's exactly what it's saying.